Holographic breathing just started when I was meditating. I was dying of Lyme disease, and I was meditating. I was mainly breathing into the maxilla, into this area here, because someone had told me this area had been pulled back, which meant the jaw was pulled back, which meant the TMJs was tight, and it was tight through my whole body. And he told me, a dentist told me, I needed 5 years of orthodontics, which I didn't think I was going to live more than a few months. I really was on my last legs with Lyme disease. And so I thought I would fix it myself, and I started breathing into the maxilla and the big maxillary sinuses here. And this went on for about a week, and this energy would go through my brain and all sorts of things would happen. Then after about a week I was doing it, one day there was just this deep stillness that just got deeper and deeper, and this blinding flash of light and energy released. It came down kind of from the heavens, released through my brain and down into the jaw. And in that instant, holographic breathing started. It just came to life. It was like an initiation. And the tongue got pulled on the roof of the mouth, the lips got closed, and my jaw just started breathing in that way. So for what I talked you through to bring people into it, that just instantly started. I'm thinking, whoa, what has happened? It just felt amazing. And with this movement of the mouth, I could feel that this area that I've been trying to breathe into before naturally just started breathing with this subtle motion of the jaw. This started breathing on its own, but also it rose up into the eyes, and there was a whole different energy in that started breathing. And then this spread through the whole cranium, spread through the whole brain. I could feel it moving down through my whole body, and I could feel all of these different activations happening. And because I had neurological Lyme disease, it was attacking the brain, and it destroys your immune system. So I was continually ill, not just with the Lyme disease, but I continually had bronchitis and pneumonia. And I think another bout of pneumonia would have ended me, really. It was getting close to the end. But with the holographic breathing, I was able to start taking this through the brain, and I started getting better from the Lyme disease, which is no mean feat, because Lyme disease destroys the glial cells, it destroys the neurons, it burrows into the meninges of the brain and stops them breathing. So to improve from it is quite something, because you have to grow new brain cells, really, or new pathways at least. But I slowly started recovering, and I started teaching Lyme disease. And I was intrigued by these different levels of energy that we're going to be working with today. And when it first happened, I never did much anatomy before that. I was among other things, I was a cranial sacral therapist, but I had this big thick anatomy book that's now falling apart. And I just opened it because I wanted to know what was happening here, and it opened on the exact page. Let's take that out. Now it's a small picture, hopefully you'll be able to see it. And as soon as I looked at it, it was kind of showing a section through the face, and it showed the insides of these maxillary sinuses here. And I took one look at them. I thought, well, they are the lungs for the face. The roof of the mouth underneath them, it's the same dome as the diaphragm there, the diaphragm for the face. Nasal passageways look like a heart. I thought, well, that's the heart for the face. The jaw is like the pelvis. The tongue and mouth, the abdomen, and the eyes were relating to the brain. And then after that started mirroring through the skull and the brain. I could see how it was mirroring through the brain. And I'll just show you the picture because it's nice to have that image, and I'll bring it close because it is a small picture. Can you see that, how the maxillary sinuses look like a pair of lungs there? How the roof of the mouth is domed like the diaphragm, and the whole center of the face is not just the nasal passageways full of air. You've got these great big sinuses and air passageways up between the eyes and up around the eyes. It's just a massive amount of air there. And from that image it carried on, and I worked with it. And a whole healing system started emerging of how that related to the organs, how that related to the spine. And we ended up with 6 different energy systems and these colours, and the face has all of those energy systems, the cranium has all of those energy systems, the brain has all of those energy systems, the different vertebrae in the spine relates to those different energy systems, the pelvis, they're all energy points in the pelvis, the arms, legs, hands and feet. It was mirrored through the whole body. So that's how it got called holographic breathing, because it opens up like a hologram. With a hologram, you've got a sheet of glass with the image of the hologram in it. If you shine a light through it, say it's a lady, you get a picture of a lady. If you break that plate in half and you shine light through it, you will still get a whole picture of a lady. However small you break that plate, you shine light through it, it's a whole lady. And that was how it was moving through the body. Every part of the body was an image of the face, or an image of the brain, or an image of everywhere else in the body, reflected over and over, right down all the different organs, fitted together in groups related to those different energies. And I could feel it relating up into the higher self, like there's a fire circuit. I could feel the channel of the fire circuit going up into the higher self, and the fire circuit in the higher self. I could feel that going down into the earth, and that reflection in the earth. It didn't just stay within the body. The holographic relationships came out and into everything around. And we work with this much more powerfully in kind of paid-for webinars that I do most Sundays, where we work with the different organs and how they relate to the spine and the kundalini and all of the connections through it. And we're going to do that in a just kind of a watered down fashion today. We're going to cover all of it in a way, but just with these 3 different energies: the hara, the heart and lungs, and the eyes relating to the intellect and higher energies, and the brain. And when they all start working together in unison, when all of those energies start moving back and forth between each other, it opens up the crown chakra and the connection into the higher self and beyond. It opens up into transcendence. So you have the hara, the heart, the intellect, and when they align, it opens up this different dimension. So we will be working with that. And I wasn't sure if it was going to happen, but it just really, I mentioned that we would be bringing in channeling type energy. And other than that, I didn't really focus, but I really felt it through that first meditation, these really strong energies channeling through it, really activating through the brain so it can connect to the higher self, or the beneficial energies, whatever it is that you connect to in that area. And in a way it has to channel properly, You have to start becoming aware of the brain, the cranial sea, that's the fluid through the whole brain and around the brain. And the qualities of that, quite often in meditation things, it's like, don't go near the intellect, bad. With holographic breathing, not so. We work through the brain, and the brain is kind of the anatomy of the intellect. But as the energies move through it, you become an observer of it rather than being it. So you're no longer the intellect, you're no longer the mind, you're more in a viewing dimension. But at some point or another, be it this lifetime or next, for your evolution, you have to become aware of the intellect. It's not like you just become aware of the heart and that's it. If you think of it, it is part of you. And to not be aware of it is denying part of you, denying part of the whole. And to get a proper and powerful connection to the beyond, it's going to come through the brain. One way or another, the brain is going to be included in that connection. So it's not something to avoid, it's not something to run from. It's not like, oh, I mustn't think. You don't become attached with the mind. You don't become that it's you. When you become aware of it, you're viewing it, so you are no longer it. And I'm not talking about viewing thoughts. That is a different thing. I'm talking about viewing a particular dimension in a way and quality of your energy, which is the higher energies and intellect. There's a particular quality to it, and when you're aware of it, you aren't it, and a massive healing can happen at that point. Because before that point, especially if you're denying it, whether you like it or not, you are it. It is running everything. It is running the whole show. But then as the energies start traveling through that, and you become aware of the energies going through the brain, it feels like, I call it the wheel of Dharma, because I can feel this wheel starts turning. It's connected to the Kundalini through my spine, through my brain, and this whole wheel starts turning. It's like my karma for all of my past lives and everything. And as that starts turning, somehow all of the different things can start healing. Because that in its unconscious state was holding everything in place. That was holding the illnesses. That was holding the patterns. That was holding all of the things I couldn't get to. And in that state, where that wheel is turning, I feel the vertebrae adjusting one by one and aligning the energy, moving through the spine. Now, I'm not saying people are going to feel that today, but it's there to be spoken today, and people will feel it to whatever level they feel it. I'm thinking of running more of these kind of shorter webinars, but just bring into, so it won't be so complex as the other Sunday ones, but just have a very simple principle and work more with channeling and allowing the cosmic energies to travel through. So that is what we're going to do in the next meditation.